Okay, let's start cutting some news. Hey Google, what time is it?
It's 10:56 p.m.
Another late night. A sales representative for the properties of the villages was arrested on a drunk driving charge with 2 children in her SUV. Iana Brown, 46, who lives in Zero Drive in Oxford Oaks, was driving a white Volkswagen SUV at about 5:30 p.m. Friday on County Road 466 near US 301. The Sumter County Sheriff's deputy noticed that the vehicle had an expired license plate. As the deputy followed the vehicle, it almost hit the curb and a traffic stop was initiated near the entrance of Oxford Oaks. In her biography on the Properties of the Villages webpage, Brown boasts that she speaks English, French, Spanish, and Hebrew, and has lived all over the world. She was born in Jerusalem and has 18 years of retail sales experience. She also hosts a podcast called Song Stories Happy Hour. When the deputy spoke with Brown, he found that she had a slurred speech and had an obvious odor of alcoholic beverage. Brown was invited to participate in field sobriety exercises, but initially said she wanted to speak to an attorney. While she did not take part in the field sobriety exercises, she provided breath samples that registered .139 and .132 blood alcohol content. She was arrested and held at Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $5,000 bond. His villages is 3 counties: Sumter County, Marion County, Lake County. So usually if something significant happens just on the outside skirts of the villages in one of those counties, I'm going to read it if it's something that really should be read, or I think should be read. Another reason I read the news like this is because I got a letter. I don't know how long I've been doing this, maybe 6 months ago. 6 months I've been doing it now. And he was a Patreon member. And he sent me an email, and he said that he was blind, and that he enjoyed listening to that podcast so much. He said, I do listen to you when I do the news. He asked me about the news and all those things I was thinking about doing. And he said, I'd love to listen to that. He said, but I don't read the paper. I'm blind. And I don't remember how it all went. But basically, he just said, boy, if you could do that, he said, that would allow me to sit and listen to that. He said, I'd really love to do that. That's why I'm doing it. Half of everything that I do, period, is usually because of some reaction I've gotten from somebody. Why do I do W now? It all started with COVID. People was bitching about COVID on the news all the time. COVID, sick of seeing it, sick of hearing it, sick. So I thought, I'll give them something else to watch. And then I get comments from people saying things like, I can't watch it because it just doesn't seem very professional. Do I look like CNN here? I'm sorry, I'm going to go on a rant. I feel it coming. Discolored water apparently is a consequence of Wildwood's rapid growth. The color of tap water was an issue at a meeting Monday night of the Wildwood City Commission's. Lee Coffey, who lives in an older section of the city, brought plastic bottles of his tap water to the meeting and asked if anyone wanted to drink it. That a boy. Nobody volunteered, but Utility Director Mark Odell said the water is discolored but safe. I'm not saying it ain't, but I'm not saying I trust what he says either. I'd have to call a water expert in. It's not pleasant to look at, but it's perfectly safe to drink, he said, adding that it's been chlorinated. Despite investing in water filters, Coffey said the water in his toilet is so yellow at times that it looks like he hasn't flushed it. I understand. I had that problem once here in the villages. They said then it was because all the water lines were new and we were flushing things out. Maybe so. But the only thing I can tell you is I got a whole house water filter. Actually, 3 of them. Each one of them does a separate thing. And 99.9% of my problem went away. And I'm not going to be without them again. Odell said the city's new Pepper Tree water main recently went into operation between County Road 472 and 44A. When it was connected to the system, the flow shook loose deposits on the older pipeline. That's what they told us. Oh, you're just flushing the stuff out. So how do they know it's safe to drink? I mean, I'd want to see that report that says it's safe. Remember, Michigan, one of the towns in Michigan, they kept telling them water was safe. Come to find out, they were all lying. Just saying. Our water quality is top-notch, he said. We've received awards from our state. A villager was arrested after crashing in a roundabout near the hacienda of Mission Hills. Joseph Carmen Canicotti, 70 of the village of El Cornez, was driving a white 2022 Honda CR-V utility vehicle with a Florida dealer license plate shortly before 10 p.m. Saturday when he was involved in a single vehicle crash in the roundabout at Morse Boulevard and Mission Hills Trail. The crash caused $800 in damage to a light pole in the roundabout and $500 damage to the flowers. The vehicle was still running and stuck on top of the light pole when deputies arrived on the scene. I'm sorry, that's not funny to me. Stuck on top of a light pole. The Miami native initially told deputies another vehicle had attempted to run him off the road. Maybe. I'm not sure I swallow that, but anything's possible. However, he was unable to describe the other vehicle or explain what had happened. Canicotti's speech was slurred and the odor of alcohol beverage was coming from his mouth. Canicotti agreed to participate in field sobriety exercises but lost his balance several times and nearly fell over. He provided breath samples that registered .140 and .149 blood alcohol content. A check revealed he had been convicted of a charge of driving under the influence in 1998 in Miami-Dade County. A hotel guest in the Villages was tasered 3 times after police were summoned to check out the status of a woman staying with him. Officers were called Sunday afternoon to the Best Western SureStay Hotel at 1201 Avienda Central to check on a woman staying in room 107 with 36-year-old Brian Edward Wilcoxon of Summerfield, according to the arrest report from the Lady Lake Police Department. A family member had expressed concern that the woman was being held against her will at the hotel. The woman in question answered the door at the hotel room, and officers asked for Wilcoxon, who was wanted on a numerous Marion County warrant. Wilcoxon ignored commands, began to pull away from the officers, and was tasered 2 times. When he was on the floor, it appeared he was reaching under the bed, possibly for a weapon. He was tasered again. Indiana, stop it! The Indiana native was wide-eyed and frantically looking around the room as if he was on drugs. Police found 1.5 grams of methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia in the room. A cook at World of Beer in the Villages was nabbed while illegally riding a moped on the sidewalk. Nicholas Jean Darnell, 25 of Oxford, was riding the green moped shortly before 9 p.m. Saturday near the Oak Leaf apartment homes when he crossed all lanes of traffic on County Road 466 and began riding on the sidewalk. During a traffic stop, the cook at World of Beer in Spanish Springs Town Square was extremely nervous and freaking out. When he was asked for his identification, the officer discovered that Darnell's driving privileges were revoked in 2019 and he has had numerous suspensions dating back to 2017. The 49cc moped was not registered with the state of Florida as required by law. In addition, Florida requires that anyone operating a motor vehicle under 50 cc's and over the age of 16 must have a driver's license. Darnell, who was arrested in 2018 in a suspected theft of items at Walmart at Buffalo Ridge Plaza in the Villages, was arrested on charges of driving while a license suspended and operating an unregistered vehicle. He was also issued a written warning for riding the moped on the sidewalk. He was booked at Lake County Jail and released after posting a $1,000 bond. A drunk driving suspect in a vehicle with New Jersey license plates told a Marion County Sheriff's deputy that someone shot at her. Deborah Lee Collins, 34 of Summerfield, was at the wheel of a white Nissan Armada on Monday afternoon in the area of Southeast 92nd Loop in Bellevue when she claimed she had been shot at, according to the arrest report from the Marion County Sheriff's Office. See, we have homes in the Villages in Marion County. She's not in the Villages, but she got arrested by Marion County on the edges of the Villages. This is why I'm reading this. Deputies quickly determined there had been no shooting. It appeared that Collins, who spoke alternately in English and in German, had been drinking. She was extremely unsteady on her feet, and her breath smelled of alcohol. Collins refused to participate in field sobriety exercises, and she refused to provide a breath sample. A criminal history check revealed she had been convicted of driving under the influence in 2007 in Volusia County. She was arrested on a charge of DUI and booked at the Marion County Jail. Bond was set at $3,000. A villager is back in jail after violating his probation in a drunk driving arrest last year at Lake Sumter Landing. Thomas Joseph Culver, 51, who lives at 1234 Dustin Drive on the historic side of the Villages, was booked without bond Sunday at the Sumter County Detention Center. Culver pleaded no contest this past September in Sumter County Court on charges of driving under the influence and resisting arrest. He lost his driver's license for 6 months, was placed on probation for 1 year, and had been ordered to perform 50 hours of community service. Culver had been driving a dark-colored Subaru SUV shortly before midnight, July 25, 2021, when he struck the curb near Cody's Original Restaurant. Culver's SUV hit a second curb before he turned into the parking lot and shut off the vehicle's lights. A deputy saw the Kansas City native get out of the vehicle and walk away with the keys in his hand. When he ordered Culver to stop several times, the deputy had to threaten Culver with a taser to get him to halt. It appeared Culver had been drinking, but he refused to participate in field sobriety exercises. He initially refused to provide breath samples, but then relented and provided samples that registered .182 and .166. He was already on probation at the time of his arrest. By the way, for those of you that sent me the email wanting to know about the police ride-along, I'm still waiting for the chief to contact me. I sent him an email about 2 weeks ago. He hasn't replied back to me. I don't know if that ride-along is even going to happen. I'm wanting to make the appointment to get it done. I'm ready to go. I bought new equipment and everything to make sure I can do this and make sure it comes out halfway decent, you know. So I'm still waiting for the chief to contact me. Maybe he's on vacation. I don't know. Construction could begin as early as next month on a large rental project along County Road 462 south of St. Vincent's de Paul Catholic Church. Wildwood Commissioners Monday night endorsed a project site plan and a planned development amendment for villas at Wildwood that boost the number of units by 10. The development was among 4 projects along Powell Road and County Road 462 acted upon by the commissioners. When completed, villas will have 192 leased units on 18.7 acres. The construction schedule is from September through May. 1-story and 2-story units will be located around a storm water retention pond, and amenities include a pool, clubhouse, dog park, according to the site plan. The project will include 16 one-bedroom units, 108 two-bedroom units, and 68 three-bedroom units in 96 buildings. Units will range in size from 696 to 1,445 square feet. A maintenance building and trash compactor are planned for the site, along with a 5-car and 8-car garage. Commissioners also endorsed rezoning to R3 and a comprehensive plan amendment for Wildwood Landing Phase 2 on the east side of County Road 462, north of Beaumont Development at County Road 466A. Owner Marilyn Brown SQ wants to build 28 single-family homes on 7.35 acres. Restaurant operator David Suleiman has purchased the Anglers Club at Lake Sumter Landing. The Anglers Club, nestled atop Red Sauce at Lake Sumter Landing, was a favorite place for Gary Morse to dine with other top village executives. It remains a members-only restaurant, although the Morses reportedly stopped going there when their executive offices were moved several years ago to Brownwood. Suleiman owns Red Sauce along with Prima Italian Steakhouse at Brownwood Paddock Square. He also operates the Nancy Lopez Legacy and Havana Country Club restaurants. I'll only say one thing about the Prima Italian Steakhouse. I was there when they first opened, and I've never been back. To the editor, the people that scammed the insurance company should pay a higher premium. I personally had my roof done at the same time this was going on. I paid for my roof without going through my homeowner's insurance. I don't think people that paid should be penalized. People need to learn. You don't get nothing for nothing. There's always a catch. They may have gotten a new roof, but they are either paying much higher premiums, being dropped, or having their insurance companies close in Florida. You always pay in the end. That's sent in by Marge Casasco, Village of Springdale. Couldn't have said it better, Marge. We're all facing it, ain't we? My roof will be 8 years old this October, and according to what's going on down here, in 2 years, my 35-year roof, they're saying the insurance company may tell me I got to rip it off and put on a brand new one, or they're going to refuse to insure my house. And even if I do that, they've already said that our rates here could double and triple to keep the policies going. And because of all this going on, they've had articles in the paper, and I've read them. I don't know all the ins and outs of it. You have to Google it or something, that there's been several companies in the state of Florida, 20 or 30 of them, a lot of them, that decided they didn't want to insure homes here anymore, and they left. They've done this before after a hurricane. But I also know that DeSantis passed some laws that had something to do with this. I don't know when they take effect. I don't even really know what the laws exactly is going to take care of. I'm just in the process of trying to find out myself. Because when my 10 years are up, and if my insurance says that they're not going to insure me unless I put on a roof, we have a problem. Because I'll do one or two things for a while. I will, first of all, drop insurance. I won't have any. I don't need it. My house is paid for, so I don't have to have it. I don't want to do that, but it's an option. Or I'm going to sell my house and I'm going to move to another state where this isn't a problem. I don't know what else to do. Sumter County was recently notified that one of its sentinel chickens tested positive for West Nile's virus. The positive sample was collected from the sentinel chicken located at the Sumter County Fairgrounds in Bushnell. Sentinel chickens are used as a way to survey for mosquito-transmitted diseases. It hasn't been, I'm going to say maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. You can Google it. But when Finney was fairly new, there was somebody down there that passed away, I believe, from West Niles. I believe it was West Niles. Don't quote me on that, but anyway, the West Nile virus is back once again. A judge has ruled in Sumter County Court on a request for internet use from a villager sentenced earlier this year in a case in which he was charged with using his laptop to look at pornographic images of young boys. I said way back then, if a judge has got half a brain, the answer to all of that is no, no matter what his attorney says. Joseph Thomas Nolan, 78, who lives at 1364 Bokelia Place in the Bokelia Villas, who has been placed on 5 years probation, had asked to be allowed to resume his use on the internet. However, Judge Mary Hatcher has denied the motion. Good for you, Judge. For Nolan's attorney seeking internet access during a hearing, the judge considered information offered by the prosecutor's office and two probation officers as well as Nolan's attorney. That's all I got to say. The village's health is warning of an increasing number of complaints of upper respiratory illness. Chief Medical Officer Jeffrey Lowenkron issued an advisory on Wednesday about an increased volume of calls and visits from patients with upper respiratory symptom complaints and concerns. He said that the village's health continues to offer COVID tests and a case-by-case decision for antiviral treatments with Paxlovid and monoclonal antibody infusion. Infusion is given in the emergency department with an associated emergency department co-payment fee. Always a co-payment fee. Villagers are collectively cringing as the story about sexually transmitted diseases in Florida's friendliest hometown is once again circulating in the national media. The latest version of the STDs in the village's story was published by the Tampa Bay Times and picked up by reputable news sources such as the Associated Press and U.S. News and World Report. It's not exactly the things villagers want to be asked about by friends and family from up north who have seen the provocative headlines. All of us that live here know this has all been debunked a long time ago. They make it up. It's called clickbait, people. They'll make a YouTube thing saying, STDs in the villages, sex in the villages, 10 things I hate about the villages. It's all to get you to click on that video so they can make a couple of bucks more. That's all it is. Don't pay no attention to it. Matter of fact, if you see them kind of clickbaits from now on, do me a favor. Ignore them. And maybe they'll stop doing it. A resident of the villages has been arrested in an undercover prostitution sting. God. I can't win. Forget everything I said. Oh, jeez. What about the time? See, this proves I don't pre-read any of this. I just go from ad to ad or page to page to page, and you hear it when I see it. I mean, well, might as well go on now. Melissa Jane Berg, 44, who lives in the village of Bonnybrook, was arrested Tuesday by an unidentified drug enforcement strike team after she listed her services on Ocala Skip the Games, a website for individuals who are soliciting sex in exchange for money. A rendezvous was set up at the Walmart at 2600 West 19th Avenue in Ocala. Berg climbed into the front passenger seat of the undercover officer's vehicle. She verbally agreed to sexual intercourse, including oral sex, in exchange for $100 in cash. They drove to Scott Springs Park, where other officers arrested Berg, who was taken into custody on a charge of prostitution. Berg is no stranger to the Tri-County area legal system, having been arrested in March 2019 when she was found driving a vehicle with a stolen license plate at Walmart at Buffalo Ridge Plaza in the Villages. At the time, she was arrested on charge of theft, possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana, and possession of drug equipment. Berg also was arrested in February 2019 after she was caught with methamphetamine in her bra. Dope is for dopes. A suspect was arrested after using a stolen credit card for a purchase at Walmart at Buffalo Ridge Plaza in the Villages. Edward Anthony Fuchs, 27, of Wildwood, was booked Thursday morning at the Sumter County Detention Center on charges of theft and fraud following his arrest by Sumter County Sheriff's deputies. Fuchs is Fuchs. Is accused of using a stolen Capital One MasterCard earlier this summer to purchase jewelry in the amount of $348 at the Walmart store in the Villages. Fuchs used the self-checkout lane when he made the purchase. Fuchs has a long criminal record, including an arrest in 2018 in which he burglarized a dead woman's residence, was being held on a $5,000 bond. Here's a letter to the editor, I believe. Here are a few friendly reminders about who has the right-of-way at gates in the Villages. I had to take that class with Sheriff Farmer at that time when I worked as a gate guard in the Villages. And I'll tell you who has right-of-way and all this and that. It surprises a lot of people. Some of it's common sense, but there's a couple of them where people go, well, I didn't know that. Here are a few friendly reminders. Vehicles and bicycles entering gate areas in the Villages via the road have the right-of-way. That means they got to be on the road with cars, not from a golf cart road. Vehicle, bicycle pedestrians on the multimodal path must yield to vehicles entering or exiting the gates via the roadway. Although many drivers want to be polite when on the roadway, do not stop for those crossing on the multimodal path in the gate areas. Oh my God, thank you for saying that. By stopping and allowing those on the multimodal path to cross the roadway, you may cause an accident. You have the right-of-way. By stopping after passing through the gate for the golf carts crossing the road on the multimodal path, you risk the gate arm lowering on your vehicle. You keep going and you can break the gate arm and get charged $250. You have the right-of-way. Take it. That is true. I'll tell you something we were taught during our Teamster as truck drivers whenever we made deliveries in town. Whenever there's anything going on at a four-way stop, you never wait somebody to come go ahead. United Property and Casualty Insurance Company is the latest insurer to bail out of Florida's troubled market. The company announced this past week that it will be exiting the homeowners insurance market here in the Sunshine State. The company has been providing insurance here since 1999. Policyholders will be forced to find new coverage when their policies come up for renewal. The St. Petersburg-based company is also withdrawing from Texas and Louisiana, which, like Florida, are vulnerable to hurricanes. The company indicated it also will pursue a plan to stop offering coverage in New York. The company is said to have about 185,000 customers in Florida. Within the past 12 months, at least 16 insurance companies have either been forced to drop policies, been declared insolvent, or stopped accepting new business. Problems in Florida homeowners insurance market, in addition to hurricanes, include a high volume of lawsuits and, of course, the free roof scam that has been obvious in the Villages over the past several months. Earlier this month, the Florida Chamber of Commerce issued a dire warning when Citizens Insurance reached 1 million policies. The government-run insurance is considered a policy of last resort for those who cannot obtain insurance through more traditional means. Many are concerned that Florida homeowners could soon find that they are uninsurable. Those lucky enough to secure renewals may find a steep rise in their premiums. I think we're getting screwed, if you want to know what I think. Any reason, right? Any reason. That's what businesses do. They take advantage of an opportunity. And I'm okay with that until you're raking all your customers over the coals, especially during times like right now. It's frustrating. A West Palm Beach woman staying at the Waterfront Inn at Lake Sumter Landing was arrested on a drunk driving charge after her Cadillac was pulled over for not having its headlights on. Laura Jane Short, 54, was at the wheel of the white Cadillac at about 11:30 p.m. Thursday on County Road 466A near Morris Boulevard when Sumter County Sheriff's deputies noticed that the Cadillac's headlights weren't illuminated. During a traffic stop, a deputy found that Short had slurred speech and was very talkative. The deputy also detected a strong odor consistent with impurities of an alcohol beverage. I like the way it's worded that. Impurities of an alcohol beverage coming from the defendant's mouth. She told the deputy she was staying at the Waterfront Inn and was on her way to a gas station to fill up the Cadillac before heading home in the morning. The Bedford, Indiana native, what's this with Indiana all of a sudden? Indiana's falling apart down here. The Bedford, Indiana native was arrested on charge of driving under the influence. She was booked at Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $1,000 bond. A villager who tried to blame her SUV crash on the fact that she was thinking about golf has been sentenced on a drunk driving charge. Nancy M. Smith, 74, of the village of Santiago, pleaded no contest this week to a charge of driving under the influence in Sumter County Court. She will lose her driver's license for 6 months and has been placed on probation for 1 year and has been ordered to perform 50 hours of community service. Smith, on March 30th, crashed into a light pole on Glenview Road, west of Buena Vista Boulevard, according to the arrest report. Paramedics had been called to the scene, told deputies that they smelt a strong odor of alcoholic beverage. Her speech was slurred. Initially, she denied that she had been drinking, but later admitted she had one drink. The Massachusetts native claimed she had been distracted because she had been thinking about golf. Smith performed poorly in field sobriety exercises. She provided breath samples that measured .10 and .098, just over the limit. To the editor, while walking my dog on Bailey Trail at about 7:30 a.m. Sunday, a sheriff's deputy went by me doing at least 70 with lights, approaching a signaled intersection. Then another with lights not so fast, followed by another even slower with no lights. I can only imagine the disaster if a golf cart or biker entered that intersection. Is that speed really necessary? And that's sent in by William Gunther, the village of Poinciana. Well, William, the only thing I can say about that is we don't know where that first cop was going. The second one might have been just backup or something. I don't know. The third one may not even be going where those other guys are going. I don't know anything about the situation, and I render to say, neither do you. A repeat drunk driving offender has been sentenced to jail time after a crash earlier this year in the Villages. Robin Rose Sharp, 58, who lives in a Rails End mobile home community in Wildwood, was sentenced to 10 days in jail this past week after pleading no contest on charges of driving under the influence, possession of drug paraphernalia, and driving while license suspended. In addition to jail time, she will be placed on probation for 1 year and ordered to perform 100 hours of community service. Sharp has had 4 convictions for driving under the influence in Kentucky. A teen has been arrested as a result of a jealousy-fueled brawl at a restaurant in the Villages. Alec Pearson O'Rourke, 18, of Fruitland Park, was arrested this past Wednesday after turning himself in at Bob's 24-hour bail bonds in Bushnell, according to the arrest report. O'Rourke was wanted in connection with a fight which occurred on the night of July 22nd at Tropical Smoothie Cafe at Buffalo Ridge Plaza. A passenger in a white Honda Civic was in the drive-thru with a female driver when O'Rourke approached the passenger side of the vehicle. The male passenger rolled down the window. O'Rourke, who stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighs 175 pounds, reached in and punched the male passenger in the face multiple times. The male passenger opened the door in the vehicle in preparation to get out and fight back. I think he has that right. You have the right to protect yourself, whatever means it takes. At least the same amount of force that was given to you. It's kind of like an eye for an eye, right? O'Rourke grabbed him by the right arm and pulled him out of the vehicle. O'Rourke, who reportedly suspected the other male who was seeing his girlfriend, got on top of the other male and began to punch him. Oh, kids, come on now, grow up. You can't keep going through life like this. If you already have some at-home COVID-19 test kits, be sure to check the expiration date. The FDA has extended the shelf lives of some COVID-19 testing products. To find out whether your at-home COVID-19 test has a new expiration date and what it is, go to FDA at-home OTC COVID-19 diagnostics tests. Because they're getting ready to do away with that program. So if you want them, order them now. A sales representative for the Villages has entered a plea following her arrest on charges of driving under the influence and child abuse. Iona Brown, 46, who works for Property of the Villages, pleaded not guilty on Thursday in Sumter County Court. She has retained a legal services of Daniel Barbata of Bogan, Munns and Munns, according to the court records. Brown, who lives on Zero Drive in Oxford Oaks, was driving a white Volkswagen SUV at about 5:30 p.m. August 19th on County Road 466 near US 301 when Sumter County Sheriff's deputy noticed the vehicle had an expired license plate. As the deputy followed the vehicle, it almost hit the curb and the traffic stop was initiated near the entrance of Oxford Oaks. A villager has been sentenced to 10 days in jail as the result of a golf cart drunk driving arrest earlier this year at the Morris Gate. Wayne Vaughter, 74, of the village of Rio Ponderosa, was sentenced this past week in Sumter County Court after pleading no contest to the charge of driving under the influence. In addition to jail time, he will lose his driver's license for 5 years and has been placed on probation for 12 months. 5 years? Oh, he must have been bad before. Probably many times. Vaughter was driving a golf cart at about 12:30 p.m. May 29th on Morris Boulevard and was swerving all over the road and in and out of the golf cart lanes that runs parallel with Morris Boulevard, according to the arrest report. A villager was following Vodar, V-O-D-A-R. Vodar. A villager was following Vodar, who drove in circles out of the golf cart lane with no regard to oncoming traffic. He almost hit several of the carts, too. Vodar's golf cart hit a sign, causing slight damage, and then stopped near a tree. A villager who had witnessed his dangerous driving snatched the keys from Vodar's golf cart and handed it to an attendant at the Morris Gate. Law enforcement was summoned to the scene. It appeared the Chicago native had been drinking. A deputy attempted to question Vodar, who told him to talk to my lawyer. That always works. His breath samples registered .260. In 2019, Vodar pleaded no contest to a charge of driving under the influence with property damage. He lost his driver's license for 6 months, was placed on probation for 1 year, and was ordered to perform 80 hours of community service. Hey, Sumter County, we got a bunch of yards that around here that need mowed and bushes need trimmed. Get together with a developer. Save us all $1 or $2. All right, I'm going to say that's going to be it. That's the news for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed WNL. We do the best we can with them shows every month. Congratulations to the prize winners. And with that being said,
don't leave your keys in the golf cart.